Good morning and welcome back. It is our final session writing a non-chronological report today. So far you've written 4 paragraphs. You've written an introduction, a paragraph about appearance, a paragraph about diet and a paragraph about habitat. So now you're going to write some interesting facts and then you're going to edit your whole report. So when you were doing your research on Tuesday, I asked you to look up some interesting facts about your animal, and they could have been based on anything you liked, anything you found that was interesting. And there are a couple of ways that you could put those facts into your report. So you could do a bullet pointed list if you have lots of facts. So you might have a fact about the history of your animal and its place in history itself. For example, in ancient Egypt, cats were worshipped as gods. You might have found interesting facts about unique creatures. So for example, a cross between a lion and a tiger is called a liger. We're talking about cats. There are over 40 different purebred cat breeds. If we were talking about dolphins, you might say about how dolphins are sometimes kept in captivity for shows. It could have been anything interesting that you liked. If you didn't have several facts to put in a bullet pointed list, an alternative might be to do a simple box with a picture. One of Miss Watson Payne's famous stick figure drawings. There you go, there's a cat. And then you might have one simple fact underneath. And that would be fine because you'd have an extra piece of an extra piece of interesting information and an illustration. If you really want to be challenged, do both. There's nothing wrong with that. Remember to try and keep your sentence interesting, okay? You don't have to just put something simple like cats were worshipped as gods in ancient Egypt. A more interesting way of doing it would be to do a fronted adverbial. So, in ancient Egypt, comma, because it's a fronted adverbial, cats were worshipped as gods. And you can even extend that sentence and you could put a conjunction and then a little bit more information. So what I'd like you to do now is pause the video here, go and do your extra information for your non-chronological report, and then when you've done that, come back and we'll talk about editing. Welcome back. Congratulations on finishing your report. Now we need to make it the best report that it can be. Now, when you're editing, there are 2 things that you are looking for. The first one is to find any mistakes that you've made and correct them. And then the second one is to look for anything you can improve, anything that you could make better. So we're going to start with this one first. We're going to start by working out how to look for mistakes. Step 1 is to reread your work and check it makes sense. Now, the best way to do this is to read your whole report out loud. Even better, read it to someone, a grown-up, anyone who's willing to listen. It's really hard to pick up when something doesn't make sense if you've written it yourself, because normally you will read what it is you think you wrote rather than what you actually did write. If you read it out loud, it makes it easier to hear when things don't make sense. So the first thing I want you to do is read your whole report to yourself or another person out loud. Check it makes sense, that you haven't got words the wrong way round, that it just sounds right, and then correct anything that sounds wrong. Number 2 is our old friends, the capital letter and its partner, the full stop. I don't think I need to say much about those. We all know why we have them. Read it through for a second time and make sure all your sentences start with capital letters. All of your sentences end with full stops, and don't forget to check for proper nouns, places, names, that kind of thing. Number 3 is the comma, and commas are used in several places after a fronted adverbial, after an opener where you've started with a conjunction, so a subordinate clause, for example, because they are hunters, comma, cats have sharp claws. Expanded noun phrases, remember adjective, comma, adjective, noun. So long, comma, razor, claws. That would be an expanded noun phrase, it needs to have a comma. And finally, commas in a list. If you have a list of something in your report, don't forget to separate it with commas. The final thing I want you to check for is spellings. Now this is the tough one. Okay, it's not always easy at this stage for you to spot when you spelt something wrong. The best thing you can do is reread your work and just look for words that look wrong. At this stage, just see if you can spot, maybe you've written T-E-H instead of T-H-E for the. Simple things like that. The chances are if the word looks wrong, you've spelt it wrong. Alternatively, maybe you could ask a grown-up just to run through it and help you find any obvious spelling mistakes. So with all of these, this is what I want you to do. In a moment, I'm going to ask you to pause the video, leave this list up on the screen, and then do first, reread it out loud and check it makes sense. Then, read it again and check for capital letters and full stops. Then reread it for a third time and make sure you've got all your commas. And then finally reread it for a fourth time, maybe with a grown-up again, and look for spelling errors. When you've done all of those, then come back, press play, and carry on with the next part of editing. Okay, so we're on to our final part of editing now, and that is how can we improve what we've written? We're going to assume that I've been through and that I've checked my spelling, all my capital letters and full stops are in there. I've checked for fronted adverbials, conjunctions and noun phrases. Now I have some noun phrases in here. Long wavy tails is a noun phrase. So I've definitely ticked that one off. What I haven't got is a fronted adverbial or a conjunction. So what I need to do is see what I can do with these sentences to put one example of each in. So, cat fur comes in lots of colours. It can be long or short. Now, there is an easy fix for this. I could easily cross out the word it and put in the word which. Cat fur comes in lots of colours, which can be long or short. So I've immediately improved the sentence. One thing I could also do is put in a generaliser, and I could start it with the word most. Most cat fur comes in lots of colours. Now, the word lots, it's fine, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's not very challenging. What other word could we use instead of the word lots? Cat fur comes in lots of colours, cat fur comes in a wide variety. So most cat fur comes in a wide variety of colours, which can be long or short. So immediately I've improved that sentence. Let's move on. Cats have long wavy tails. The tails help to keep their balance. Now this is a great opportunity to flip a sentence around. And what I want to do is to start it here. No, I'm going to start it here. To help cats keep their balance, comma, they have long wavy tails. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a line all the way through that. Then I'm going to start it here instead. To help cats keep. Do you think we can think of a better word than keep? To help cats keep their balance, to help cats maintain their balance. Comma, because it's a fronted adverbial, to help cats maintain their balance, they have, and this is where I keep my noun phrase, long, comma, wavy tails. Okay? Cats' ears are large and flexible. This helps them to hear tiny prey. I could swap that one around as well. I could start it with a fronted conjunction. So that they can hear tiny prey, cats' ears are large and flexible. But I've already done that with that sentence and we don't need to do it to all of them. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of that word there and I'm going to put in a simple conjunction. Cats' ears are large and flexible. So, no, in order to help them hear tiny prey. So now my paragraph reads, most cat fur comes in a wide variety of colours, which can be long or short. To help cats maintain their balance, they have long wavy tails. Cats' ears are large and flexible in order to help them hear tiny prey. And suddenly I've gone from a series of really short statement sentences to 3 long and interesting ones. So what I'd like you to do now as your final task is to choose one paragraph, just one. I don't want you to do the whole document, you'd be there all day. One paragraph, go through it, check what you have included, and then see what you can change to make sure you've got one example of each in your paragraph. You may find it easier, instead of writing it like this and it ending up looking messy, is rewrite the whole paragraph at the end of your report. Have fun with it. This is a great chance to experiment with sentences and see what you can come up with. When you've finished, it would be really nice if you could take a photograph of your edited paragraph and send it to your teacher, or if you really want a challenge, type it up into email and email it to us. And we look forward to seeing your paragraphs. Have fun, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next time.